The 1920s hold a critical warning for today's leaders. Just like mass production, AI is enabling cognitive processing at scale, what I call mass decision automation. Is your business ready? I'm Randy McClure with SC Tech Insights. Here are the four business impacts of this AI shift.
It is abundantly clear that we are undergoing a fundamental structural transformation in how organizations operate. Today, we're analyzing the four business impacts of mass decision automation. The baseline premise here is absolutely critical for any operational executive. Successful AI implementation requires transitioning your enterprise workflows from manual, human-constrained processes to fully augmented execution. We are officially moving past AI as a novelty and into the era of robust cognitive architectures. To systematically unpack this, our agenda is structured around five core areas. First, the mass decision automation shift itself. Second, high-velocity cognitive assembly lines. Third, the democratization of system intelligence. Fourth, evolving the knowledge worker. And finally, the prerequisite just-in-time data infrastructure. Let's start with section 1, the mass decision automation shift. To begin, we need to precisely define what we're dealing with. Mass decision automation is essentially the application of dynamic cognitive power directly to analytical workflows. You are taking the raw material of data and running it through a cognitive assembly line to produce rapid, informed decisions. At this point, the core engineering challenge isn't really compute power anymore, it's workflow orchestration, because the objective reality facing enterprise logistics today is that human operators simply cannot match the required data velocity. We have hit the absolute limits of manual processing. Think about the industrial problem solving of the 1920s. Pioneers like Henry Ford applied rigid standardization to physical workflows to enable mass production. What we're seeing today is the exact same structural shift, but applied to the cognitive realm. AI is standardizing analytical workflows and digital processing at an unprecedented scale. We are effectively replacing physical locomotion with cognitive velocity. Moving to section 2, high-velocity cognitive assembly lines. Organizations are rapidly transitioning away from using isolated AI assistants, moving toward true automation via multi-agent workflows. It operates exactly like a digital factory floor. In step 1, a specialized AI agent drafts the architecture for an application or maybe processes a complex insurance claim. In step 2, a completely independent adversarial AI agent tests that generated logic for vulnerabilities. Then, in step 3, a deployment agent pushes the validated output straight to production. This sequential automated digital workforce drastically compresses operational cycles. The crucial metric to watch here is quantitative velocity. Look at legacy execution models. Decision cycles and code deployments are bottlenecked by human latency, often measured in days or even weeks. Mass decision automation provides the structural solution to this problem, accelerating execution speeds from days down to milliseconds. We are systematically eliminating the latency inherent in manual legacy systems. Section 3. Democratization of system intelligence. Much like how the price of the Model T plummeted in the 1920s, making the automobile widely accessible, today we are seeing the cost of knowledge completely collapse. Generating complex code, analyzing dense legal documents, and processing customer service inquiries can now be done instantly. Data flows efficiently through specialized AI nodes that extract insights and surface optimized decisions at a mere fraction of historical costs. This creates a stark operational contrast. The outdated legacy model restricted and hoarded high-level analytics, stating them exclusively for the C-suite to make major strategic bets. But with its collapsing cost of intelligence, democratized nodes are emerging. Businesses can now deploy high-level, automated decision-making across every single operational tier. You can push cognitive power all the way down to everyday logistics and supply chain optimization, right there on the warehouse floor. Section 4. Evolving the knowledge worker. Back in the 1920s, the physical craftsmen didn't disappear, their roles simply evolved. We are witnessing that exact same evolution today. The historical bottleneck was manual data crunching. Think of supply chain analysts and spreadsheet operators burdened by absolute processing limits. AI strips away that manual burden entirely. The solution moving forward is strategic oversight. Your knowledge workers are actively being elevated from digital craftsmen to line managers of the cognitive assembly line, allowing them to focus strictly on exception handling, complex strategy, and enterprise innovation. Finally, Section 5, just-in-time data infrastructure. To feed a high-velocity automation engine, you require high-velocity fuel. These are the strict requirements for a just-in-time data pipeline. First, organizations must resolve core data readiness problems. If your data is siloed or unclean, your new cognitive assembly line will halt entirely. Second, you must integrate your supply chain ecosystems seamlessly to ensure data liquidity. And third, you have to interconnect how partners, vendors, and internal legacy systems actually communicate. Your digital infrastructure must fundamentally match the speed of your cognitive processes. To conclude our structural analysis, let's look at this ecosystem restructuring. Operating in the blind with fractured legacy supply chains is simply no longer viable. The solution is a fully integrated, data-driven ecosystem permanently fueled by high-velocity data. Just as the physical assembly line forced suppliers to deliver raw materials at unprecedented speeds, the cognitive assembly line demands that exact same velocity from our digital infrastructure. I'll leave you with this analytical question to help assess your own systemic readiness. Is your enterprise data infrastructure actually ready to feed the cognitive assembly line, or are your operations still relying on the latency of manual spreadsheet crunching? This shift from manual processing to mass decision automation is no longer theoretical, it's an operational imperative. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to evaluate your own data pipelines against these four key business impacts.
Hello, this is Randy McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.